The courtroom was buzzing with anticipation. Camera crews adjusted their equipment while the audience whispered excitedly among themselves. This wasn't just any ordinary case. This was about to become one of the most talked-about episodes in Judge Judy's legendary career. "All rise," the bailiff announced, his voice cutting through the chatter like a knife. The Honorable Judge Judith Scheinlin presiding. Judge Judy emerged from her chambers, her black robe flowing behind her with an air of authority that commanded instant respect. At 78 years old, she hadn't lost an ounce of her sharp wit or her ability to see through nonsense. Her perfectly coiffed hair and no-nonsense expression told everyone in the room that justice was about to be served, Judy style. "Be seated," she said, settling into her chair and adjusting her reading glasses. She glanced at the case file before her, then looked up at the plaintiff and defendant standing nervously before her bench. On the left stood Rebecca Martinez, a 29-year-old marketing executive with shoulder-length blonde hair and eyes red from crying. She clutched a manila folder filled with photographs, her hands trembling slightly. On the right stood Marcus Thompson, her ex-boyfriend, a 32-year-old personal trainer who looked far too confident for his own good. "Ms. Martinez," Judge Judy began, her piercing gaze fixed on the plaintiff, "you're suing Mr. Thompson for $15,000. That's quite a sum. Tell me why you believe he owes you this money." Rebecca took a deep breath, steadying herself. "Your Honor, Marcus and I dated for 3 years. During that time, I lent him money to start his personal training business. He promised to pay me back once the business was profitable. But then I discovered," her voice cracked, "I discovered he was cheating on me with multiple women, including my best friend, Sarah."
A collective gasp rippled through the courtroom audience. Judge Judy raised her hand for silence. "The cheating is unfortunate, Ms. Martinez, but this is a court of law, not a therapy session. Do you have documentation of these loans?" Rebecca nodded eagerly, opening her folder. "Yes, Your Honor. I have bank statements, text messages where he acknowledges the debt, and even a handwritten note promising to repay me." Judge Judy gestured for the bailiff to bring her the evidence. As she examined the documents, her expression remained impassive, though her eyes moved rapidly across the pages, absorbing every detail. "Mr. Thompson," she said without looking up, "what's your story? And it better be good because I've already seen 3 red flags in these documents." Marcus shifted uncomfortably, his earlier confidence wavering under Judge Judy's scrutiny. "Your Honor, yes, Rebecca gave me money, but it wasn't a loan. It was a gift. We were in a relationship. Couples help each other out. She was investing in our future together." "A gift?" Judge Judy's eyebrows shot up as she removed her glasses and fixed Marcus with a stare that could melt steel. "Did you sign a birthday card with this gift? Was there a bow on it?" "Well, no, but nothing. Don't waste my time with nonsense." She held up one of the documents. "This text message from you says, and I quote, 'Baby, I promise I'll pay you back every penny once the gym takes off. You won't regret believing in me.' Does that sound like a gift to you, sir?" Marcus fumbled for words. "I was just being nice. I meant..." "You meant you wanted to take her money," Judge Judy interrupted. "Now, let's talk about this cheating scandal because that's what really interests me. Ms. Martinez, how did you discover his infidelity?" Rebecca's eyes welled up again. "I hired a private investigator after I noticed he was coming home late and being secretive with his phone. The investigator followed him for 2 weeks and documented everything." She pulled out a stack of photographs from her folder. "These pictures show him with at least 4 different women, including Sarah." The bailiff brought the photographs to Judge Judy, who examined them with the intensity of a detective solving a murder case. Her expression darkened as she flipped through the images. Marcus holding hands with a brunette at a restaurant, kissing a redhead outside a movie theater, and most damningly, entering a hotel with Rebecca's best friend Sarah. "Mr. Thompson," Judge Judy said, her voice dangerously calm, "I've been on television for over 25 years. I've seen every type of liar, cheat, and con artist you can imagine. But you, sir, you might just take the cake. Not only did you take this woman's money under false pretenses, but you also betrayed her trust in the worst possible way. Your Honor, my personal life has nothing to do with— Nothing to do with it? Judge Judy's voice rose, and everyone in the courtroom jumped. You used her emotions, her trust, and her love to extract money from her. You made promises you never intended to keep. This goes directly to your character, Mr. Thompson, and let me tell you, your character is about as appealing as a used tissue. The audience couldn't help but laugh, though they quickly quieted under Judge Judy's sharp glance. Now, she continued, let's talk about this business of yours. Is it profitable? Marcus hesitated. It's doing okay. I mean, I'm getting by. Getting by. Judge Judy turned to her computer screen. According to the financial documents Ms. Martinez subpoenaed, your gym brought in over $200,000 last year. That's not getting by, Mr. Thompson. That's called being successful. So why haven't you paid back this young woman who made your success possible? I have expenses, Your Honor. Rent, equipment, staff salaries, and apparently hotels and fancy dinners with your harem. Judge Judy shot back. Don't you dare stand in my courtroom and plead poverty while you're whining and dining multiple women on someone else's investment. She turned to Rebecca. Ms. Martinez, you said your best friend was one of the women he cheated with. Is she here today? Yes, Your Honor. Rebecca pointed to a young woman sitting in the audience, who looked like she wanted to disappear into her seat. Stand up, Judge Judy commanded. Sarah reluctantly stood, her face flushed with embarrassment. What's your name? Sarah Chun, Your Honor. Ms. Chun, how long have you and the plaintiff been friends? Since college, Your Honor. About 10 years. Judge Judy's expression was withering. And in those 10 years, did Ms. Martinez teach you the meaning of loyalty? Because it seems you missed that lesson entirely. Sit down. I can't even look at you. Sarah quickly sat, tears streaming down her face. The courtroom was silent, hanging on Judge Judy's every word. Mr. Thompson, Judge Judy continued, here's what's going to happen. You're going to pay Ms. Martinez the $15,000 she lent you, plus interest at the legal rate, which brings the total to $17,300. And before you open your mouth to protest, let me make something very clear. I don't care about your expenses. I don't care about your lifestyle. You took money with a promise to repay it, and that's exactly what you're going to do. But, Your Honor, I'm not finished. Judge Judy's gavel came down with a thunderous crack. Furthermore, you're going to pay for the private investigator Ms. Martinez hired, which cost her $3,000. Why? Because your dishonesty made it necessary. If you'd been honest from the start, she wouldn't have needed to hire someone to document your shenanigans. Marcus's face had gone pale. Your Honor, that's $20,000. I don't have that kind of money right now. Then you'll work 3 jobs if you have to. You'll sell equipment. You'll do whatever it takes. Because in this country, we have something called personal responsibility, and you, Mr. Thompson, are about to get a crash course in it. Judge Judy leaned forward, her eyes boring into Marcus. Let me tell you something that my father taught me when I was a little girl. Your word is your bond. When you make a promise, you keep it. When you borrow money, you pay it back. And when someone trusts you with their heart and their wallet, you don't betray them. You failed on all 3 counts, sir. And that makes you not just a bad boyfriend, but a bad human being. She turned to Rebecca, her expression softening slightly. Ms. Martinez, I'm ruling in your favor for the full amount, plus investigator fees. That's a total of $20,300. Mr. Thompson has 90 days to pay you in full, or you can garnish his wages and his business accounts. Thank you, Your Honor, Rebecca said, tears of relief rolling down her cheeks. Don't thank me. Thank yourself for being smart enough to document everything. Let this be a lesson to you. Always get it in writing, and always trust your instincts. If something feels wrong, it probably is. Judge Judy paused, then added, and find better friends. Miss Chun back there is not a friend. She's a backstabber in sheep's clothing. Judge Judy's gavel came down one final time. Judgment for the plaintiff. We're adjourned. As the bailiff called for everyone to rise, Rebecca broke down in tears, this time tears of joy and vindication. Marcus stood frozen, the reality of his consequences finally sinking in. Judge Judy gathered her papers and stood, but not before delivering one last piece of wisdom. "Mr. Thompson," she said, her voice carrying across the courtroom, "I hope you learned something from this experience. Money isn't just money. It represents someone's time, their effort, their trust. When you take that lightly, you're taking that person lightly. And ladies and gentlemen," she addressed the entire courtroom, "remember this case the next time someone asks you for money. Get it in writing. Make it clear. And most importantly, watch how people treat others, because that's how they'll eventually treat you." With that, Judge Judy exited the courtroom, leaving behind a stunned silence that gradually gave way to animated discussion. The cameras captured it all. Rebecca's emotional embrace with her attorney, Marcus's dejected walk out of the courtroom, and Sarah's hasty exit through a side door, avoiding all eye contact. Outside the courthouse, reporters swarmed Rebecca. "How do you feel about the verdict?" one asked. Rebecca wiped her tears and smiled for the first time in months. "Judge Judy didn't just give me my money back. She gave me my dignity back. She made me realize that I wasn't crazy for expecting honesty and respect. Sometimes you need someone like her to remind you that your standards aren't too high. Other people's standards are just too low." The case of Martinez versus Thompson would go on to become one of Judge Judy's most watched episodes, replayed countless times and shared millions of times on social media. It wasn't just about the money. It was about justice, accountability, and the undeniable satisfaction of watching someone who thought they could get away with betrayal finally face the consequences. And somewhere in her chambers, Judge Judy smiled, knowing she'd done what she did best.